Hello, Chelsea fans. Welcome back to the Blues Talk Zone, and remember to subscribe, then enjoy your news. Let's dive in. Xavi Simons drops huge Chelsea transfer hint, misses RB Leipzig training speculation around the future of Dutch sensation. Xavi Simons has reached fever pitch after the highly rated playmaker missed RB Leipzig training, amid growing interest from Premier League giants Chelsea. The 22-year-old attacking midfielder, who enjoyed an electric season in the Bundesliga, is now at the center of a transfer saga that has taken a dramatic twist. And Blues fans are buzzing. Sources close to the player confirmed on Sunday evening that Simons was a notable absentee from RB Leipzig's first-team training at Katwijk. Club officials have remained tight-lipped, citing personal reasons. But Football Insiders suggest his absence could be directly linked to ongoing talks with Chelsea. Missing training, raising eyebrows. Xavi's absence was immediately noticed by local journalists and fans who had gathered to catch a glimpse of the squad's preseason drills. Just 48 hours prior, Simons had posted a cryptic message on Instagram with a blue heart and an hourglass emoji, leaving fans to speculate that a move was imminent. Many believe the blue heart was a subtle nod to Chelsea. According to reliable German journalist Patrick Berger, Leipzig were expecting Simons to report back after a short vacation. Instead, the player has reportedly stayed in the Netherlands, and it's understood that both Chelsea and Paris Saint-Germain, who still own his registration, are involved in complicated negotiations over his next destination. PSG had loaned Simons to Leipzig for the 2024-25 season, but included a recall clause which was recently activated. The French club wants to sell him permanently, and Chelsea have emerged as frontrunners, with new manager Enzo Maresca keen on adding flair and creativity to his midfield. Talks advancing behind the scenes. Sources close to Stamford Bridge suggest that Chelsea have already made significant progress in discussions with both PSG and Simons representatives. The Blues are reportedly offering a long-term deal worth around $7.5 million per season, with a 5-year contract in place. Sporting director Paul Winstanley and co-director Lawrence Stewart are believed to have traveled to Paris last week to present Chelsea's official proposal. The London club are ready to table a $50 million bid, a figure PSG deem acceptable given Simons' age, market value, and potential. Maresca's project attracts Simons' new Chelsea boss Enzo Maresca has identified Simons as the ideal attacking midfielder to complement the likes of Cole Palmer, Enzo Fernandez, and Moises Caicedo. The Italian tactician envisions a fluid 4-3-3 setup with Simons operating as a central creator, a role that could unlock his full potential. A rising star, Simons enjoyed a remarkable loan spell at RB Leipzig, notching 9 goals and 13 assists across all competitions. His ability to drive forward with the ball, operate in tight spaces, and create goal-scoring chances makes him one of Europe's most sought-after young talents. He also shone at Euro 2024 for the Netherlands, helping his country reach the quarter-finals and showcasing his maturity and leadership on the biggest stage. Having emerged from Barcelona's famed La Masia Academy before joining PSG, and then impressing in the Eredivisie with PSV, Simons has proven himself in multiple top leagues. A move to the Premier League could be the final puzzle piece in his development. What happens next? RB Leipzig are understandably disappointed by the sudden turn of events. They had hoped to keep Simons for another season, but their hopes now appear dashed. With PSG exercising their recall clause, they are set to cash in while his stock is high. And Chelsea seem ready to pounce. Medical tests are already being prepared in London, and barring any late twist, Simons could become Chelsea's marquee signing of the summer by the end of the week. Final thoughts. The saga of Xavi Simons is reaching its climax, and all signs point to Stamford Bridge. His absence from RB Leipzig training, his social media. Chelsea intensify training as João Pedro impresses under Maresca's new tactics. It was a bright morning at Cobham, Chelsea's lush training ground buzzing with life as the squad assembled for another intense preseason session under new head coach Enzo Maresca. The Italian tactician, known for his meticulous approach and a philosophy rooted in positional play, was keen to drill his ideas into his players ahead of a demanding campaign. The session began with rondos, small-sided keep ball exercises that Maresca insists sharpen decision-making under pressure. João Pedro, Chelsea's new attacking signing from Brighton, stood out instantly. His quick feet, clever movement, and silky touches earned nods of approval from teammates and coaching staff alike. Whenever the ball was at his feet, there was a sense something exciting might happen. Maresca gathered the players midway through training for a tactical chat. Using cones and markers, he laid out a compact 3-2-4-1 shape. His voice was calm, yet authoritative as he explained how he wanted the wing-backs to tuck inside during build-up, the midfield pivot to drop between the center-backs, and the front line to pin the opponent's defense high. "João!" Maresca called out, waving him over. The Brazilian jogged up, sweat glistening on his brow. "I want you to play off the shoulder of the last defender, but also be brave enough to drop into the pocket and link. Don't be afraid to turn and run at them. The key is to keep them guessing." "Yes, coach," João replied with a smile, tapping his chest in understanding. His enthusiasm was infectious. Moments later, in a small-sided game, he received a zipped pass from Enzo Fernandez, turned sharply between two markers and clipped a delightful through ball to Nicholas Jackson, who slotted home coolly. Maresca clapped, shouting, "Bravo, that's it!" Beyond João Pedro, other players seemed to be relishing Maresca's tactical demands. Reece James was instructed to invert into midfield when Chelsea had possession, almost playing alongside Moises Caicedo. Levi Colwill looked assured stepping out of the back line, driving the ball into midfield before distributing wide. At the end of the session, Maresca pulled the team into a huddle. "Every day we get a little bit better. This is how we build our identity. Control the game with the ball, work like animals without it. Wow, perfect example today. Keep it up." João Pedro walked off the pitch with his arm around Thiago Silva, laughing and chatting. It was still early days under Maresca, but the atmosphere was buzzing with optimism. The players could sense they were part of something special brewing at Stamford Bridge. A new tactical era driven by intricate patterns, relentless pressing, and the flair of talents like João Pedro ready to shine on the big stage. Another news, João Pedro completes medical ahead of blockbuster move. João Pedro stepped out of the sleek black car that had delivered him to Chelsea's state-of-the-art Cobham training ground early on a cool summer morning. Dressed in a crisp white t-shirt and dark jeans, he looked calm and focused. Though beneath that composed exterior, excitement was unmistakable in his bright eyes. This was a huge moment. Months of speculation and negotiation were finally reaching their climax. The 22-year-old Brazilian forward was greeted by members of Chelsea's medical staff, who escorted him through the gleaming corridors of the facility. Cameras were stationed outside, snapping pictures for fans desperate for updates. Inside, though, it was all business. First came the initial health checks: blood pressure, heart rate, lung function. João chatted lightly with the club's head of medical services, joking in Portuguese about the long flight from Brazil and how he'd barely slept. But when it came to the tests, he was all professionalism. Then came the more intensive stages: scans of his joints, ligaments, and muscles, designed to ensure there were no hidden weaknesses that might cause trouble during the grueling Premier League season. João lay back inside the MRI machine, the loud hum echoing in the small room, thinking ahead to Stamford Bridge, to the roar of thousands of Chelsea fans chanting his name. After a series of agility and sprint drills on the indoor pitch, monitored closely by sports scientists, João Pedro moved on to meet the club's nutritionist and fitness team. They discussed meal plans, hydration, and recovery strategies. It was clear Chelsea were investing heavily in making sure their new star would be at peak condition. By the afternoon, the process was nearly complete. João signed a few final documents related to medical clearance, then shared a brief handshake and hug with his agent, who beamed with relief. Outside, fans had begun to gather, hoping to catch a glimpse. João paused to wave, giving them a thumbs up, though he was careful not to speak yet. The club's official announcement would come soon enough.